All right, so I thought I'd share with you the deal I made with Ed to be able to take Dream Factory, his original creation in the comics, and turn it into a series and a movie and have the rights to it. So this is the actual signed option agreement that, that we gave Ed that he signed. And an option agreement is a contract to purchase something in the future. So let me explain what I mean by that. So I have the exclusive option to pitch this project, and I have the exclusive option to purchase this project. Now, there is money involved, so in order for any contract to be enforced, there has to be some exchange of money. So options, the amount that you pay on an option for the guaranteed right to pitch something really varies greatly. Now, just be fair to Ed, I'm not going to share the actual amounts, but I will share a lot of the specific details on this with you. So it can literally be as low as 10 or 20 bucks, although not normally, and up to $1,500 for an option. And there's a few different areas of things that you need to agree on an option. Okay, one is the amount of the contract to make it valid. The second is how long that is for. So a really short one will be for 12 months. I've seen them as low as 6. I just did another project for 6 months just because of the way it was set up. The normal amount of an option period is 18 months, it's a year and a half. This one was 2 years because we knew we had to do a lot of development on it. It was an unfinished comic book. There wasn't much there, but there was a core concept that we really wanted. So we made the option agreement for 2 years. The next part of an option agreement is the what they call the second and third or continuing option periods. So in this case, after 2 years, we wanted to extend it. We paid him another amount, generally equal to what the first was, for another year extension. Okay, so we extended, and we've been continuing to extend every year since. Now, the next part of an option agreement is, all right, so what's the purchase price? So in this case, there's two elements to that. One, it's the purchase amount. Again, I can't, just because of privacy in contracts, and that can be any amount. Now this, I can tell you, is on the slightly lower end of the scale because it's an unknown property with an unknown creator at the time. He was still in college when I met him. But what we also did is we're giving him 10% of anything we make. So if I sell it to a network, sell it to a studio, anything I make as an owner of the property, 10% of that goes to him. So, purchase price, I've seen literally anything from $1,000 up to $250,000 for a really well-known property. Okay, that's your negotiation. Keep it low if it's an unknown. You're going to have to pay a lot more if the owner or if the property is very high. Okay, and then another element that we put in here is let's see, there's a couple things I want to mention. Oh, merchandising. Okay, now as the creator and since I'm the executive producer of this, I'll generally be able to hold on to a very small percentage when I make a deal. Now my deal, what I would make is not in this option. I'm just letting you know. Generally, as an owner, and the person who put together, you might get a 1.5% of merchandising, which adds up to a lot of money. But you're not on the bigger end on that one. So in this, he gets 10% of whatever I get as well. Couple other things in here, because he's also a creator, he wanted to be involved later on. So we have participation of rights holder in development and production. So that's one section. So we talk about cooperation during development and production, and I'll just read some of this to you. The parties acknowledge that the cooperation of rights holder, which is Ed in this case, throughout development and production of the story is important to the parties and the success of the marketing of the story accordingly. Purchaser hereby grants rights holder the right to provide meaningful creative input, which shall not be unreasonably withheld or delayed into the story and character outlines included in all drafts or scripts. He's not required to make himself personally available if his schedule does not reasonably permit, and information can be exchanged by other means. Okay, so that's just keeping the door open for him. However, if we're going to have him be more part of the working on the project, not just taking a look and saying yes or no, but if he's a creative consultant, and if it would be a benefit to the success of the venture, both agree that he may serve in that capacity and receive additional compensation for his services. So he would be hired on as a consultant, and we don't set what that rate is, because it depends on what kind of project and depends on the budget. Obviously, a big budget movie, everyone makes more. But those are the main things. Then everything else is just a lot of legalese. There's representations and warranties on that he actually is the one who owns it and created it. There are no outstanding liens or no one else involved. Remedies, in case there's a lawsuit, how we handle that. Everything gets copied to our attorney. Our attorney's information is on here. And just some other legalese. But those are the main parts to the options. So this for us is a very important agreement. So if you're interested in something that gives you an idea on an option agreement, do talk to an attorney. Get an attorney involved. It doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg to get one. You can always ask them to just put together a boilerplate for you. Contract is just a piece of paper until two people sign it. So it's always going to be negotiated back and forth, but it doesn't have to be hard negotiations. Ed was great working on this, and we've been good on keeping up with everything and keeping him involved every step of the way. And hopefully this helps you out and understand option agreements a little bit more.